Hare Krishna. Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Vihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Jaya Girivaradhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Jaya Girivaradhari Jaya Yasodhanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yasodhanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Vihari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare. Jaya Gauranitai, Jaya Gauranitai, Jaya Gauranitai, Jaya Gauranitai. Jaya Radha Vallabha Radha Vallabha Sri Radhe. Jaya Radha Giridhari Radha Giridhari Sri Radhe. Jaya Radha Shyam Sundar Radha Shyam Sundar Sri Radhe. Jaya Radha Govinda Radha Govinda Sri Radhe. Jaya Radha Gopala Radha Gopala Sri Radhe. Jaya Radha Ramana Radha Ramana Sri Radhe. Jaya Radha Gokul Nandana Radha Gokul Nandana Sri Radhe. Jaya Radha Gopinata Radha Gopinata Sri Radhe. Jaya Radha Madan Mohan Radha Madan Mohan Sri Radhe. Jaya Radha Damodara Radha Damodara Sri Radhe. Jaya Radha Madhava Radha Madhava Sri Radhe. Jaya Radha Banke Bihari Radha Banke Bihari Sri Radhe. Banke Bihari Radha Banke Bihari Sri Radhe. Jaya Radha Shyam Sundar Radha Shyam Sundar Sri Radhe. Jaya Radha Vallabha Radha Vallabha Sri Radhe. Jaya Jagannatha Jaya Jagannatha Jaya Baladeva Jaya Subhadra. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Gurudev 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev. Nitai Gaura Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Nitai Gaura Hari Bol. जय विष्णुपाद परम स्तोत्र श्री श्रीमद शिल प्रभुपाद की इस्कॉन फादर शिल प्रभुपाद की श्री श्री गौरनिताय की श्री श्री राधुल भगवान की श्री श्री जगन्नाथ सुंदर की शिल प्रभुपाद की निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे. Hare Krishna. Can you bring Bhagavad Gita? Hare Krishna. Thank you all for assembling here for Srimad Bhagavatam discourse. So today we have got verse 49 to 50 from chapter 4 of Canto 6, Srimad Bhagavatam. And the title of chapter is Hamsya Guhya Prayers. Before that, we also pray, invoke auspiciousness. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So, the title of the chapter, Hamsya Guhya Prayers. So, these are the prayer offered by Daksya to Lord Vishnu. Of course, Hamsya Guhya. In purport, Prabhupada said that these prayers are not composed by Daksya, but they are in the scriptures, and name indicate Hamsya Guhya. So, Hamsa, swan. Guhya is more of a secret that can't be understood that easily. So this swan is known for its transcendental quality. If you pour milk into water, and swan knows how to just extract milk, not drink the dirty water. So this is a very important prayers by Daksya. Of course, today's verse is focused on different aspects, but we will see as we go along. So let us read verse 49 and 50 first. So there are two verses combined today. Save yada Mahadevo Save yada Mahadevo Mama Viryo Paravimita Mama Viryo Pavarmita Mene Kilam Ivatmanam Mene Kilam Ivatmanam Udyataha Sarga Karmani Udyataha Sarga Karmani Atabe Abhihito Devas Atapo Tapoyata Darunam Nama Vishvasa Srajo Yusman Edanava Asraja Vibhuva Seve Yada Mahadevo Save Yada Mahadevo Mama virya pavarmitaha Mene klim ivatmanam Udataha swarga karmani Seve yada mahadevo Mama virya prabhamitaha Mene kilam ivatmanam Udataha swarga karmani Save yada mahadevo Mahaviryo prabhavitaha Mene kilam ivatmanam Udataha swarga karmani. Vaishnavas. Save yada mahadevo Save yada mahadevo Mene kilam ivatmanam Udataha swarga karmani Yada Mahadevo Mama virya prabhavitaha Meme kilam ivatmanam Udataha sarva karmani Mahadevo Mahaviro Save yada Mahadevo Mama viryo prabhavitaha Mene kilam ivatmanam Udataya swarga karmani Save yada Mahadevo Mama viryo prabhavitaha Mene kilam ivatmanam So the verse that is written here is only verse number 49, 50 is in the book or in your mobile phone. Okay, now let us read word-to-word translation. So this is full, both verses. Saha, that Lord Brahma. Why? Indeed. Yada, when. Mahadeva, the chief of all the demigods. Mama, my. Viryo upabramitaha, being increased by the potency. Meme, throat. Kilam, incapable. Iva, as if. Atmanam, himself. Udayat, attempting. Swarga karmani, Yogeswar Govind calling. Yogeswar Govind. I should put it to the lowest. Best is to shut down. No, so that no one will call me. Or even if they call, my mobile will not receive it. Sorry. Sarga karmani, in the creation of the universal affairs. Atha, at that time, me, by me. Abhihitaha, advised. Devaha, that Lord Brahma. Tapa, austerity. Atapayata, performed. Darunam, extremely difficult. Nava, 9. Visvasrajya, important personalities to create the universe. Yusman, all of you. Yena, by whom? Ado, in the beginning. Asrajat, created. Vibhuha, the great. Mataji, that is in the class mode. Sometimes devotees call me thinking that I can control. If it is class mode, don't touch. Okay, thank you. So we will read translation. When the chief Lord of the universe, Lord Brahma, Svayambhū, having been inspired by my energy, was attempting to create, he thought himself incapable. Therefore, I gave him advice, and in accordance with my instruction, he underwent extreme difficult austerities. Because of these austerities, the great Lord Brahma was able to create 9 personalities, including you, to help him in the function of creation. Okay, this is the statement by Lord Vishnu told to Daksya. Okay, so from that perspective we can understand what does me means, what is you means. Okay, so let us read purport by Srila Prabhupada. Nothing is possible without tapasya. Lord Brahma, however, was empowered to create this entire universe because of his austerities. The more we engage in austerities, the more we become powerful by the grace of the Lord. Therefore, Rasabadev advised his sons, Tapo divyam putraka yena sattvam sudayet. One should engage in penance and austerity to attain the divine position of devotional service. By such activity, one's heart is purified. So this is from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 5, Chapter 5, verse number 1. In our material existence, we are impure, and therefore we cannot do anything wonderful. But if we purify our existence by tapasya, we can do wonderful things by the grace of the Lord. Therefore, tapasya is very important as stressed in this verse. Om Ajnana Trimidanjasya Jnananja Salakaya Chaksurunivitam Ena Tasme Sri Guruve Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Ena Bhutale Svayambhū Kadamayam Dadati Padahtam. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadara Sivasadi Gaura Bhaktavanda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So let us read this translation again and try to understand some of the key points that are emphasized by Lord Vishnu to Daksya. Please repeat after me. When the chief Lord of the universe, Lord Brahma, Svayambhū, having been inspired by my energy, was attempting to create, he thought himself incapable. Therefore, I gave him advice. In accordance with my instruction, he underwent extreme difficult austerities. Because of these austerities, the great Lord Brahma was able to create 9 personalities, including you, to help him in the function of creation. So just to set in context, this whole, those of you who are regularly attending the Srimad Bhagavatam's, you know the context. Anyway, so this Prachetas, so they performed severe austerities, and they came back. They finished their austerity and came back. When they came back, they saw whole world is filled with forest. And they couldn't even find a way to go from that austerity place to their kingdom. So what did they do? So because of their austerity, they achieved great yogic siddhis. And today it is all about austerity. And through austerities, one can perform wonderful things. And they can be very powerful. So these Prachetas also became very powerful, and they burnt some of the trees to make a way for them to go from the place of Tapasya to the kingdom. Of course, they did not please Soma. Soma is a moon god. So moon god explained to them they should actually take care of these trees as if they're citizens. Their sons and daughters, their duty is to protect. Then finally Soma also presented to them one Apsara girl. So I am pleased with all of you. Here is the Apsara girl, get married and create progenies. And these Prachetas married, and then as a result of their union with this Apsara born Daksya. And when we say Daksya, all of you know, usually we refer to Daksya as a father of Sati, correct? So Daksya, that is normally most of us understand Daksya. And of course, we know Daksya's and activities, and Daksya became a father-in-law of Lord Shiva, and Sati was married to Lord Shiva, and Daksya became father-in-law of Lord Shiva. And of course, Daksya was not that much impressed by the previous Daksya, not Daksya of the Daksya in previous life. Okay, so he was not that much impressed by his son-in-law. So there are many incidents where Daksya expected Lord Shiva to respect him or stand up whenever Daksya comes up. Imagine Daksya comes up inside, and imagine I am father-in-law of the Daksya, and the Daksya expect me to stand up and pay obeisance to him. Even in material world also we don't do that. But anyway, Daksya expected. But Shiva didn't do it, because Shiva thought, if I do it, that person's life will actually decrease. So Shiva is supreme. But he happened to marry Sati, his daughter, but he is still the supreme, higher than Daksya. So therefore he didn't do it, but Daksya, took it offense. Then he performed one great yajna where he would invite everyone except Shiva. Actually Shiva's family, that is Shiva and Sati. So, but however, Sati decided that she wanted to go. His father's house, no need to invite, they would go. So she went there, and she was also not respected, and as a result, she, by her yogic power, she also did a lot of tapas. And just by simply by yogic power, she sat down like this in meditation and burnt her body. Can we do that? Sometimes we sit down and become very angry. Correct? In anger, of course, sometimes we also may tremble, but maybe not able to burn body. But Sati anyway did it due to her yogic tapas. And today is about tapas. Prabhupada is emphasizing about tapas only. So then afterwards, Shiva heard about this incident and immediately he came along with all his Shivagana. Then there was a big fight between this Shivagana and of course Daksya's party. Then finally, they killed this Daksya. So when Daksya was killed, so what happened? So everybody pleaded, Shiva, please do something about it, bring him back to the life. So Shiva said, no problem, just go there on the way, go in the direction, and whichever living being or animal you find it, cut its neck and bring it back. So they happened to find a goat, I think. So they brought, and then Shiva, fixed that goat face to the body, because this was cut off and thrown into Yajna Kunda, burnt it. So he can't be revived anymore. So Shiva is able to perform that surgery. Correct? So these days people are doing surgery of replacing kidney by kidney of pig or something. Correct? But that time Shiva is able to perform that operation successfully. And both patient is saved and operation is successful. It is not like here, operation is successful but patient is dead. But whereas here, patient is successful, operation is successful, but also patient is also not dead, he is living. So the Daksya, of course, now he is with goat, face, didn't like it, so he just gave up his life also. That was the life. Then the same Daksya appeared here as son of this Prasyadas. Of course, Daksya usually also want to procreate more and more living entities. In fact, his aim of performing this tapas here at Vindhya mountains, I think this Vindhya mountains was in Kerala. Kerala is one of the states in South India, in India, and they call themselves as a God's own country. If you are someone going to do tour of Kerala, so they promote it as a God's own country. Okay, this is a country of God. So there is a very famous deity within their state capital, Trivandrum. Trivandrum in Nauka, Tiruvantapuram. So Lord Padmanabha. So that is where he performed great tapas. Then when Lord Vishnu appeared, so he offered these prayers which are called as Hamsa Guya prayers. Very beautiful prayers in praise of Lord Vishnu. So if you read these prayers, so very enlightening. So he explains at every verse he pays obeisance to Lord Vishnu. So he states his prayer and then pays obeisance. So then of course Lord Vishnu knows the desire of this Daksya. Daksya's desire is to create many progenies. So he grants him that wish in the next verse, which I am not reserving it for the next speaker because there is a very deep aspect to be discussed there. So he grants him, then also he explains him. So today's verse is about, he explained in the yesterday that Lord Brahma who has appeared for the purpose of creation, and of course all the Daksya and others are meant to assist Lord Brahma in that process. So yesterday it was said that this Lord Brahma is a source of you. That is, Lord Brahma is source of Daksya. Actually, all of us are source of, Brahma is the source of all of us through many, many chains. But here, so he said directly, so who is your source? And this Brahma is not born of a material mother. Unlike us, so everybody is appeared from Yoni. So whereas Brahma appeared from the Lord's navel and the lotus flower, then Brahma appeared there. So he is a spiritual. So from this perspective, he is not from material mother. So he is son of Vishnu in that case. So in today's verse, So this glorifies Brahma and how he is able to gain that potency to create all these living entities. So Lord here he says that Lord Brahma, having been inspired by my energy, was attempt to create. He thought himself incapable. Creating so many living entities in this universe is not easy. Just creating one is so difficult. So these days, the maximum we can create 2, correct? So 2 kids. And some fortunate ones can create 3. So that is through austerity. You have to come to Mangalarti every day, then only you can create 3. Okay? And others only 2. And many others are, not even 1. So in this place where we are living, Albert Park, on average, 0. Or maybe 1 maximum. Okay? Anyway, so he wanted to create. So he was inspired by Lord Vishnu's energy. But however, he thought himself incapable of creating. So therefore, Lord Vishnu gave him advice. So he took his advice according to instruction of Lord Vishnu, and he underwent extreme austerities. So because of the austerity, so he was able to create 9 personalities, including this Daksya. We will discuss what are those 9 personalities. So I was actually, after reading this verse, I thought, Prabhupada, the world will have those 9 personalities, my job will be easy. So then I knew that we have other, here regular attendees of Srimad Bhagavatam, they will definitely ask if I don't explain who are these 9 personalities. So therefore I also have to do some little tapas to find out who are those 9 personalities and understand more. Because the job of those 9 personalities is to create more further. Correct? Daksya is not someone who is satisfied just simply by creating himself and, but he also expects all his sons to create. All his sons and daughters to create more and more. So therefore they can fill this universe with living entities. And then when we see this purport, Prabhupada is emphasizing not so much about 9 personalities, but he is emphasizing more about the tapas. And he starts with Prabhupada, nothing is possible without tapas. So if you want to accomplish great feat in your life, you must perform tapas. Whether it is material accomplishment or spiritual accomplishment. There are 2 activities we can perform. So in this world, in human form of life. So of course, in those who are not in human form of life, most of them are performing material activities or animalistic activities. But those who are in human form of life, apart from performing material activities, they can also perform spiritual activities. And in either of them, we have to perform tapas. Austerity is very, very important. And if you want to win a medal in Olympics, not any medal, not iron medal, bronze medal, you want to win gold medal. If you want to win gold medal, you have to perform so much of austerities. And they perform practice. For example, if you are a runner, winning there, so they perform austerity from their childhood only. Like that small boy, he will be asked to run from his home to here at Mangalarati, whereas parents will come in car. So if he does that austerity every day, very sincerely, and able to reach faster than them, and actually here you can reach faster than, if you come by running from their house to here, I am sure he can reach faster compared to the car, because car you have to go through this and that, traffic, and suddenly somebody appears, whereas a person can run fast. But if he really practice, and one day he will be able to run within 10 seconds, cover this from there to here. Correct? That austerity necessary. And austerity performed for almost 20 years, then you will be able to possibly qualify to run and then qualify to win that medal. So like that you can look at many other aspects in our life. Austerity is very important for successful in material world, and austerity is also important to be successful spiritually. So first, Lord Brahma, however, was empowered to create the entire universe because of his austerity. Lord Vishnu simply didn't say, oh, go and create. Correct? So here he also gave him instruction, perform this tapas, and he performed. As a result, he is able to create. So, so Prabhupada is saying, the more we engage in austerity, the more powerful we become by the grace of Lord. The more you perform austerity, you become more powerful. Not only by your austerity, but you also need grace of Lord. This is very, very important. If you think you perform austerity, you will achieve some astasiddhis, then through astasiddhis you might be able to walk on the water. You ever seen people walking on the water? Yeah, you will be able to walk on water. But that only creates pride, and the pride will become source of fall down. But if you have a grace of Lord, then that pride will go away. Correct? So even in case of Brahma, in Canto, Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 2, Chapter 9, so there is a vision by citing Lord's vision, that Vishnu's vision, and there also Brahma is praying to Lord Vishnu. He followed those instructions and performed austerity. Then he was blessed by Lord Vishnu to be able to create. Not only just blessing, he also handshaked him. Imagine, like this, Nara Kesari, I handshake you. Then you will feel very happy and feel like, oh, I am your friend, correct? So, correct, Lord Vishnu handshaked Brahma. So, Brahma, of course, was very happy. When he touched Supreme Lord, who is Satchidananda, when you touch a Satchidananda Vigraha, Satchidananda Murti, what do you get? If you touch that electricity wire, right, go outside and touch electricity, what do you get? Electricity shock, isn't it? Or take one iron piece and insert into that hole. I haven't seen kids doing here, but we used to do it at our home, in our village. But not with iron. If you touch iron, electricity will give you a shock, feel you burnt out. You'll be only left with burnt body. But we used to take a wet stick. If you take a wet stick and touch, you will get mild shock like this. Your hand will shake. Okay, these are some ideas for kids to explore. So here Brahma, Lord Vishnu handshaked Brahma, and Brahma got so much of energy, supreme, Satchit Ananda. So he was happy, and Lord, graced, by grace, Lord has blessed him, and then handshake, he was very happy. But he felt that this might, lead to my pride. So therefore, before he falls down, he knows that, now that he was a, Veda, he's an expert in Veda. So you know that this kind of ability that you gain can be a source of pride. So he requested, Lord, please, this is my special prayer. You blessed me, you handshake me as if I am your friend. I am very grateful to you. But please, I pray that under no circumstances I develop this pride. This is very, very important. Pride is the source of all downfall. In everywhere, in material world, in spiritual world, everywhere. So pride. Because of pride only we are here. Now all we are doing is praying to Lord every day by through chanting Hare Krishna mantra, that let our ego be disappeared from our, from ourselves. As long as our ego is there, we will not be qualified to go back to Vaikuntha Loka or Goloka Vrindavan. Correct, Prabhuji? Yeah, we have to give up. Only soul can go. Our false ego, our intelligence, material intelligence, and this mind. So these three things, as long as they are with us, we will be here. In some form, some body will be here. So it is all our effort. Chanting is all about how to leave this false ego, how to leave this mind, and how to leave the intelligence here. And if you have that ability to separate yourself, that your soul, from these three things, you are already Nitya Siddha. So Nitya Siddha here, then when you leave this body, you will be Nitya Siddha back to Supreme Lord's kingdom. So this is very, very important. So all our prayers is about how do we remove that pride. It is not about becoming bossa. Correct? In materially we want to become bossa. That means we want to boss up all the bosses. Correct? That is the goal of life. In material, isn't it? So we think, I want to be the best professor in the world. So best of all the best. But in spiritually we want to become dasa. Correct? We want to become dasa. So there is a direct dasa of Lord Sri Krishna, but we want to become dasa of many of the dasas and final dasa. And if you are a final dasa of all the dasas, you are the highest position actually spiritually. But materially is reverse. So material always reverse. Anyway, so this powerful, he became powerful by the grace of Lord. So therefore, Rasabadeva advised his sons. So Rasabadeva, in Canto 5, during lockdown, so this Canto 5 was covered during lockdown. So as a result, only our ashrama vasis, not any other ashramas. Ashrama vasis are number one ashrama. There are multiple ashramas here, correct? There is one away here. So here, so as our ashrama brahmacharis used to attend. I think Priya Mataji also used to attend. Then, so I attended by holding Lord's, that instrument which is camera. Correct? You can't come through this body. You have to be instrument, catch some instrument so that we can broadcast Lord's glory, Srimad Bhagavatam. So through that I was able to come here. So I should thank that instrument and everyone who made that possible. Okay, so somehow I managed to come. So I was able to attend this teachings of Lord Rasabadeva to his sons. Very powerful. Something we must remember, and the first one is the most powerful one. So it says, Tapo Divyam Putraka Ena Sattvam Suharday. One should engage in penance and austerity to attain the divine position of devotional service. By such activity, one's heart is purified. So it is all about purifying our heart. Our heart we want to purify. And so here Lord Asubhadra says, by engaging in austerity, you can purify your heart. So of course, what is this austerity is something to understand, very important. So, before this verse is actually, this is just a partial. But if you look at the full verse, that is, very interesting. So the full verse, this is just one statement from that verse. So the full verse to read is, Lord Asubhadeva told his sons, my dear boys, of all living entities who have been accepted material bodies in this world, one who has been awarded the human form of life should not work hard day and night simply for sense gratification, which is available to even for dogs and hogs that eat soup. So Brahma's job is to create all the living entities in the material world. And among them, some of them are awarded human form of life. Okay, we will see more detailed about this Brahma's creation, 9 types of austerities. First, we will focus on Prabhupada's purport. I'm sure Prabhupada knows what is best for us. Otherwise, we will get distracted, but we will come to that point also. So, among all the living entities that are created, are living entities who accept material bodies, and one who is awarded this human form of life should not work day and night simply for sense gratification. And of course, here Rasabadeva said that this sense gratification is available to dogs and hogs that eat stool. Of course, it's available to all the living entities. According to Prabhupada, the sense gratification or sexual life of dogs or cats or humans, it seems same. That's what Prabhupada says. I cannot endorse, I do not know, but I have to believe what Prabhupada says. So I trust. And what Prabhupada is saying that whatever the sense gratification, pleasure that one is seeking is same. Whether one is in dog's body, hawk's body, or snake body, or pigeon body, or demon body, whatever may be the body, or even fish body, so it is same. the same level of pleasure, nothing more or nothing less. So if human is simply working day and night just for sense gratification, what is the use? Useless. So that is why he says, he is advising his 100 sons not to engage that day and night working so hard sense gratification. Instead, they should engage in performing austerity. Why austerity? Perform austerity to achieve divine position. So we have to perform some attention to earn little money to maintain our body and soul together, and also have sufficient energy to come to the temple, sufficient energy to chant. If you don't have energy, do not worry. So temple will give you prasada. Correct? I think on Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appearance day, so Anida Prabhu was asking, why are you performing puja? Narakeshwari, I remember. He said, we perform puja so that we can get prasada. That is one of the benefits. Is that correct? Yes. Yes, by Lord's grace we get prasada. Yeah. Finally we get prasada by grace, correct? So because we offer Lord, we offer Naivedya to Lord, He is very kind, He will give us back. Not just simply give back, give it sanctified. So when we eat, no karma, so simply we become powerful. So anyway, to attain divine position, these austerities, the goal of austerities of human life, primarily to attain divine position. So divine position of devotional service, that is bhakti. That position of bhakti, you want to become bhakta, correct? So that is the emphasis. So in our material existence, we are impure. So Prabhupada says, in our material existence, our material consciousness is impure, therefore we are impure. Therefore we cannot do anything wonderful. So, but if by purifying our existence by tapas, we can do wonderful things by the grace of Lord. So whatever wonderful things we do by the grace of Lord, and to get that grace of Lord, we have to perform devotional service, and this is what advised to sons of Lord Sabadeva advised to his sons. Okay, the first son of Rasavadeva is Bharat Maharaj. Yeah, so there are a lot of stories come there. So anyway, so here Lord Asvadeva advised that they should not work day and night so hard, simply for sense gratification. Instead, use their time and effort to perform austerity and attain the divine position of devotional service. So that is what is. So if you achieve that position, then you can perform simply wonderful things. So therefore, Tapasya is very important as stressed in this verse. So Prabhupada is emphasizing so much about tapas and importance of trust, tapas, and through tapas we attract grace of Lord, blessings of Lord. Then we can do wonderful things, and you become a wonderful person, and you will have wonderful power, wonderful ability. You will have so much of wonderful ability that you can sell Srimad Bhagavatam book to anyone in Melbourne. Yeah, someone is able to sell books simply, wonderfully. Why is that? It's because of his full, trust in Lord, his full determined dedication on Lord's seva. Then performing austerities like getting up morning at 4 o'clock and being in temple by 4:30, then attending Mangalarati, then chanting. That gives enormous of energy. Materially, this Einstein's theory of relativity that says E equal to mc square. You can study this theory, this formula, E equal to mc square, materially. Correct? You heard about E equal to mc square? Yes? No, not yet. Very good. You will hear sometime soon once you go to university. It is a matter of time. So you must somehow remember this E equal to mc square. And if you can know this E equal to mc square, in materially you will be considered as a accomplished person. Not just knowing, understanding, realizing the meaning. Okay? But we can also see this E equal to MC square spiritually. So let us say this energy, spiritual energy. We are interested in spiritual energy, not material energy, isn't it? So Lord has extra energy, that is material energy, and then antaranga Shakti, that is spiritual energy. So you have a choice. You can run your life, lead your life in spiritual energy of Lord or in material energy of Lord. So materially E equal to MC square, spiritually also E equal to MC square. And what is that E equal to MC square? Spiritual energy, E equal to MC square. What is M? Mangala Arati. Right? Then that C square we say C. What is C? What do we say there? Chanting. So if you can have these two things, Mangalarati and chanting. If you do just one chanting, Lord will enhance it. He says MC square. Correct? Say MC square. You do only chanting, Mangalarati and chanting. But because you are doing, Lord will amplify it. That is, square is added. Correct? So if you do 10 times chanting, square, 10 square, how much? 10 into 10, how much? 100. Correct? 100 times. So just by doing one time chanting, only one time only, one square is one, but at least two times. 2 square, 2 into 2 become 4 times. And if you do 16 times, 16 into 16, you know, at your age, if I sit in front of a teacher, ask him 16 to 16, and if you can't answer immediately, he will take one danda, stick and beat you. Yeah, so it's a big number. So 16 of chanting after attending Mangalarti will give you so much of spiritual potential energy. You will be able to do simply wonderful things. Whether it is distributing a book, or going and attending a class in this Middle Park Primary School, or Albert Park High School, or University of Melbourne, wherever it is, or going to work. So you'll be able to perform simply wonderful. Nobody will complain on you. You are going with the consciousness, pure consciousness, and the work that is assigned to you, also perform with sincerity. When you perform with sincerity, people obviously appreciate you. Isn't it? Correct? And if you, if teacher is explaining to you, and if you hear attentively their teachings, you will become dear to them. Isn't it? When you become dear to them, even if you don't write well in exam, they will give you grace marks, just like Lord Vishnu is giving grace. Yeah, it's very, very important. So sincerity, determined not to fall asleep. Right? Just because you attended Mangalarti, that won't give you a grant that you can sleep in the school. You must be awake there. Right? Attentively, more attentive than any other kids. It's very, very important. So that is the power that you get through E equal to MC square. You remember now? Yes. You should be able to now write an essay on E equal to MC square. Can you? Write it tomorrow. So you finish today and come back. Yeah, how this E equal to MC square is true, and then what are the practices we need to perform to make that truly happen. And of course, this austerity is so nicely explained in Nectar of Devotion. So what is the Nectar of Devotion in Sanskrit? Name of the title of the book? Upadeshamrita. Upadesha is instruction. Nectar. Amrita Upadesha. Upadeshamrita. So which we call Nectar of Instruction. This is a small book with around 12 instructions. 12, right? Nectar, very small book, very thin book. The smallest book that you can ever read by Srila Prabhupada is Nectar of Instruction. Correct? If you cannot read Srimad Bhagavatam, I'm recording this in Zoom, so for the benefit of those on the Zoom. So this is Srimad Bhagavatam. So this is just one canto. Like this, there are 16 cantos. Okay, that may be very difficult, but you can simply read Nectar of Instruction. In Nectar of Instruction, so who is the author of Nectar of Instruction? Srila Rupa Goswami. Have you seen him? There. So his blessing, the moment you sit down there, so you have a blessing from Srila Rupa Goswami. So Srila Rupa Goswami said in the first verse of Nectar of Instruction, a sober person who can tolerate the urges to speak, the mind's demands, the actions of anger and urges of the tongue, belly and genitals is qualified to make disciples all over the world. So by performing austerity, you can become a Jagat Guru. Correct? The master of the universe, master of this Jagat. So this is a very, very important austerity. And the austerity is essentially, what is this austerity or tapas? Is primarily, performing certain, following certain principles in methodical way, in a systematic manner. Is austerity. So why do we perform austerities? To revive our original consciousness, especially spiritual austerity. The goal of spiritual austerity is to revive our original consciousness. We have consciousness, which is material. By performing certain austerities, we can revive our original consciousness, that is God consciousness or Krishna consciousness. What are those austerity principles? Certain principles we follow. At least Prabhupada says 4 regulative principles. No meat eating, no intoxication, no gambling, no illicit sex. So Prabhupada gave these very simple austerities. By performing the simple austerities, one becomes very powerful. Simply because he will lose interest in sense gratification and then shift that interest towards spirituality. Correct? You can either be in, we say, Maya shelter, or you can be in Krishna shelter. If you are in Maya, if you are not in Maya shelter, then you will come to Krishna side. If you are in Krishna side, you will not go to Maya side. So either way. So one can, so these principles, austerity principles, following is actually a great tapasya for us. Coming to Mangalarti is a great tapasya for us, isn't it? So unless they were trained from their birth, right? These, Shiva has gone out, whether is there. So they are trained right from birth, that's why they are able to come to Mangalarti. But whereas I am not that much trained, so therefore very difficult for me to come. It's a great accomplishment. So possibly only on Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's appearance day, I will perform some studies and appear here. That's all. But it is a great accomplishment. So those all of you are doing, so it's a great achievement, simply wonderful, and you have Lord's grace. And here it says you become a wonderful person and you perform wonderful activities. Now these austerities that Rupa Goswami is talking about, austerity of tongue, vacho vegam. So this tongue that we have got, what does tongue want to do? Yeah, so it wants to either talk something or eat something, correct? That's the tongue business. So performing, so here Rupa Goswami is asking you to not to speak. He is saying if you speak about Lord glories. If you want to use your tongue, you chant holy name of Lord. And of course, tongue has to taste very tasteful, palatable, food. So then, why don't you taste prasada, Krishna prasada? Otherwise, if you don't do the thing, then we will do all the nonsense. We want to talk. What do you want to talk? If you don't talk about Krishna, you talk about all gossiping, criticizing others. Correct? Or maybe reading, or you can use tongue to read Srimad Bhagavatam. If you don't read Srimad Bhagavatam or scriptures, what do you read? You read some useless newspaper about politics, what is happening here, there, what is happening there, all the nonsense things only. That is austerity of tongue. Then austerity of mind. This mind also has to perform austerity. So you know that when you are doing chanting, even though you are chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra through tongue, but this mind is not engaged, mind is going somewhere else. So bringing back that mind and chanting by consider is austerity. And of course, the best austerities can be if you close your eyes, mind has to be engaged, it can't keep quiet. So maybe you can just simply imagine how the Lord is looking today, correct? You close and then now you have full view of, and then you can chant by closing eyes. Austerity of tongue, austerity of mind. Then this anger also comes. When does anger comes? When your desires are not fulfilled, correct? Do you become angry on your mother? Sometime. Yeah, sometime you have certain expectation, but they are meeting their not expectation. Or things are not happening your way. Like your brother is not listening, not following the way you want to do. Correct? Then we become anger. So this anger can also be used in service of Lord, if necessary. Generally we should be peaceful. Krishna conscious person is always peaceful. Correct? So even if someone slaps you on the left side, you give right side. That's the real conscious person. If the devotee comes and slaps you, you don't hit back. Correct? He's slapping you to, reform you. Maybe you did some mistakes or sins are committed, so he has to teach you. So here, for example, Hanuman's also, when this Ravana kidnapped Sita Mata, so he was also very angry. In anger he performed certain great feat that very difficult to perform. Correct? Even Arjuna also. Arjuna has to fight so hard in battlefield. In battlefield, taking this arrow and aiming at Guru and hitting him, or hitting that his grandfather, Bhishma. See, grandfather was looking after this Arjuna very lovingly. But in war you have to be angry and hit with energy, high energy. Correct? So anger is necessary to be used. Not all the time. When these impious things are happening, to establish dharma, you have a duty. So as per the order of Lord Krishna, you have to perform at that time, not all the time. Okay? So there is anger. So then of course, urges of tongue, belly and genitals. These also have a lot of urges. And if you can tolerate all these urges, you are qualified to become a spiritual master of universe. So this Brahma, we are talking about Brahma. So Brahma is able to create so many entities. And also he is also spiritual master of this universe. The supreme spiritual master of this universe is Lord Brahma. Correct? So we say, so we are coming from Brahma, Madhva, Gaudiyava, Sampradaya. So Brahma Sampradaya. The first spiritual master is Brahma. After that there are many other. So if you do not know, please open Srimad Bhagavatam. So Bhagavad Gita. So Prabhupada has given list of teachers coming in the line of Lord Brahma. You heard about? In the first chapter of preface, so there is a list of, and the listing is there. So you can see the list, part of introduction. Anyway, go through slowly, starting from Brahma. Then we have many other acharyas. Then of course Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is there. Then various other acharyas. Then finally Prabhupada. Then of course we have our Guru too. Correct? This is a dismissed section. It goes to Brahma. Brahma is the supreme spiritual master. So apart from perform this tapas, then he also achieved blissful life. Correct? So he was eternal, and his spiritual personality is not from from material mother. So now these 9 personalities that are created by Brahma. So let me discuss very briefly those 9 personalities that are created by Brahma. So this is actually explained in Varaha Purana. In Varaha Purana, Varaha, why did Varaha appear? When this Hiranyaksha pushed Mother Earth to the Patala Loka, so Varadeva appeared, correct? In Satyayuga. So he went, with tusk, he is able to lift Mother Earth and put it in its right position. Then obviously Mother Earth, Prithvi, we call, she was very impressed and prayed to Lord, acknowledging and thanking him. but also requested, "Oh Lord, please tell me about this creation. How was this universe created? How is all these things created? Please tell me more. Also tell me about yourself. Who are you?" She didn't recognize Varahadev. So Varahadev, no problem. So he opened his mouth. Inside his mouth, see Prithvi, this Mother Earth, saw many universes and so many living entities, and she got frightened. Even Arjuna got frightened. When Lord Krishna has shown Vishwarupa to him, Arjuna also got frightened, correct? Then he said, "Okay, no problem, let me come back to my this two-headed form." It was a two-handed form. So then he became a bit peaceful and agitation is gone. Similarly, that happened to Mother Earth also. So at that time, so this Varahadev, he has shown his original form. What is the original form? Narayana form. Just like lying on Ananta Shesha, Vishnu form. So then she became peaceful. Oh, he is my Supreme Lord. So anyway, meanwhile, because he asked a question on this creation, he talked about creation by Lord Vishnu, but finally he came to his assignment to Brahma. So Brahma was assigned task of creating these 9 type of entities. Brahma, when he started creating, he is unable to create. So if we sign this verse, he got frustrated. When you got frustrated, what happens? Anger comes. In that fury, in that anger, he created Rudra. Correct? That's the first type of entity that Brahma has created from his furious situation. That's why Shiva is always with Trishul. Correct? If someone is not listening, he will put that Trishul into the body of that person. So that is Rudra. Then the second one is Prajapati. How is this Prajapati created? You have this left leg and right leg, and there is a big toy. From the right leg, big toy, this Prajapati was created. And only Prajapati is not enough. Prajapati also need a wife, isn't it? So he created Prajapati consort. From where? Not from the right, but the left leg, big toy. So because Brahma, is a spiritual being, so he can create all those just from a mind, from a left toy, from the right toy, the big toy. So now we have got 3. Rudra, Prajapati and Prajapati consort. Of course, Rudra also does his creation, then Prajapati also created many other, but we will look at only Brahma's creation, not the sub-creation. So then they also created 5 types of avidyas. Correct? So false knowledge. So in this world we also have false knowledge. Who created? You think you created this false knowledge? No. This false knowledge was also created to keep us in this place. Those are 5 types of, those avidyas are created. So those 5 types are, detailed to discuss, but we will skip just 5 types of avidyas. So if you want to know, for example, tamas, darkness is created. That's why we have got night time. Moha, attachment. You have some attachment? No? No attachment? Detached person? Very good. Mahamoha. Not just attached. Some are Maha attached, great attached. So Mahamoha also created by. Then Tamisra. Tamisra means jealousy. Sometimes we become jealous of others. Correct? This was also created. Then of course Andhamisra, anger. So these are the 5 types of avidyas created. Then the 5th one is Moksha Sarga. 5th type of entity or thing that Brahma created. Moksha. So this is Moksha Sarga is like immovable things that can't move, like trees, mountains. Those are created. 5th. The 6th one is Tirak Sotra. That is animals. That is quadruped. That beings with 4 legs, like dogs, cat, cow, lion, correct? Tiger. So all those with 4 legs, immovable and movable. Movable with 2 legs, then movable with 4 legs and movable with 2 legs. Of course, then the sixth one is Sattvic Sarga. So these are like deities. So who were all in virtuous by nature, deities, like this. Then the seventh one is human beings. And we all are under that category, human beings. Of course, human beings are of three types. Those who are in mode of goodness and passion, ignorance, that is a separate discussion by itself, but in human beings. Then the eighth one is Anugraha Sarga. So once human beings are created, human beings are also be regularly taught with good knowledge, how to behave, how to lead life, how to be successful. So for that we need sages and hermits. So those Anugraha Sarga. So they are the one who will give benediction for well-being of this world. So like Narada Muni. Then finally ninth one is Kaumara Sarga. Adolescent beings, just like this Kumaras, for example. So these are the 9 type of personalities that are created by Brahma. Of course, usually when we say like the major 12 sons of Brahma, we read, but they are under one of this category, but there are many other, not just those great sons of Brahma, but all other living beings, animals, humans, then movable things, immovable things, Prajapatis, Rudra. So these are 9 type of personalities are created by Brahma, and these are part of actually Varaha Purana. If you go through Varaha Purana in depth, you will find many of these. Yeah. So this pride, this aspect of pride is something very important, because today there are more kids here than adults. So I thought I should say something about something to appeal these kids. Okay? So we, all kids come with pencil and pen. You have pencil? Drawing picture? Very good. Okay, what is the color of your pencil? Yeah. So when you buy this pencil, so they are this height, correct? Same height. With over time, maybe you have pencil like this. What does it mean? So this pencil is more used compared to this other, correct? So if it is more used, it means it is experienced pencil. This is experienced pencil, this is just beginner. Right? Like your mother and baby. Right? So what does this mother do? Mother always gives you some instruction. So this experienced pencil is telling the big pencil, don't become pride. Don't become too pride. Why does this pencil become pride? Because it thinks, now I am able to create such a beautiful picture. Correct? So you have drawn the picture. So now, can this pencil become pride? It can become, right? But actually, who is the cause of that creation of that picture? You, not the pencil. Isn't it? So therefore, this pencil is like an instrument in the hand of someone. So similarly, when we perform some austerity, if you become pride, correct? If you become pride, what happens? That become downfall. Instead, if you accept that you are simply an instrument in the hand of Lord, by His grace you are able to accomplish wonderful things. Then, you can be peaceful and happy forever. Correct? So therefore, the first lesson is that don't become pride. You are simply an instrument. And because of grace of Lord, you are able to perform great accomplishment. Even by grace of Lord, you are able to come to Mangalarti and perform, attend Mangalarti and do chanting. Right? If you think that now I am able to come to Mangalarti, I am the greatest devotee in Melbourne, Australia, and then go around with that pride, what will happen? Fall down. Just like, from top to bottom, from peak to, that is the first lesson. Correct? Yeah. And then with this pencil we draw. So while drawing, suppose if I draw like this 100 times, what happens? The lead finishes. Or even before, so the quality of picture that you are drawing, it depends on the outside color of the pencil. This green color, red color, this different color. It depends on what? The quality of lead, correct? So therefore, inner virtue is more important than outside color. Outside dress color like yellow kurta, or red dress, or white correct? Or white shirt, or blue shirt. So similarly here, the quality, inner quality of lead is important for drawing a nice picture. For us, inner virtue is more important than outside. So I'm not saying that you go nanga. I'm not saying that you just don't wear any dress and come here. You wear a dress, but do not worry too much about the color of the dress. So that is why these brahmacharis or devotees don't want to worry too much. That's why they just wear white shirt, white dhoti. That's it. Imagine if you go to shop. So ladies spend 2 hours just to choose red color sari, green color sari, yellow color sari, or pattern. So much of time. But if you are simply stuck to yellow white one, finish. Okay, one color, no problem. Maybe you can say brand, but just one color. No need to worry about this color business. Otherwise, we have to wear that color, see how it looks to me. If I wear on this special day like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appearance day, how does it look like? How many people can see me? So all those will start to come into our mind. So it's better to be focused on the internal. Next, so when you are drawing, if you draw for 1-2 days, what happens? The lead will finish. If you try to draw, what happens? The paper will get torn. Nothing, correct? What do you do? At that time, you can take the sharpener and sharpen it. Similarly, in our devotional life, we also become sometimes morose, dull. Isn't it? You are chanting Mangalarti, but someday you are not able to do, or maybe you don't want to do chanting anymore. So you need to be charged. Devotee also need to be charged. So we hear sometimes devotees when they perform 1 year seva in the temple, temple say, why don't you go for 3 weeks to Mayapur or Vrindavan? So there by 2-3 weeks of visit to Mayapur or Vrindavan, you become charged. Come back and again you start distributing 1,000 books per day. Isn't it? You also, we are here and you start doing that. Correct? So regular recharging important. Then while drawing the picture, you make a mistake. What do? You cry about it? No crying. Instead you take a eraser, erase that part. Like if you are drawing, say, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu there. Rasandhani Mataji has drawn that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Correct? So while drawing this eye, Kamala Netra, something small just goes up. What does the artist do? They take like this, eraser and erase a little bit and then make it clear. Similarly, in our life also we make mistakes. It happened and nothing can be done. You can't do anything about it. It happened is happened. So what do? Correct. Next time don't make the mistake and then you slowly move on. Correct? Everyone has made a mistake. That is why we are here. Everyone who is in this world, in this material world, in Australia, in India, in this earth, or entire universe, everyone had made some mistakes. Because of that they are here. Now we are in the rectification mode. So focus on rectification. By performing these 4 things, by adopting these 4 lessons, so we can make our life successful and lead successfully, whether it is materially or spiritually. Okay? Is that clear? So to summarize, so we discussed about blessings of Lord Vishnu to Daksya, and because of those blessings and austerity is able to create all those 9 type of entities. I remember at least one: Rudra, Prajapatis, Prajapati wife, then immovable things, movable things, human beings, correct? Rishis, what else? Yeah, like this 9 we discussed. Then of course we discussed about the glories of powerful position, simply wonderful thing that you can do because of the austerity. Okay, then finally we saw this story of pencils, correct? So I'm sure you remember at least pencil story, that's enough. Okay, with this let me stop here. So thank you all for hearing patiently. You have some question? No? No question. But you are raising hand. You had doubt, no problem. No, actually when you have a doubt, we simply have a habit of raising hand. In school that's what we do. Because it is considered by raising hand, it is, I understood it very nicely, now I can ask a question. Yeah. Or sometimes they understood everything, they don't need to ask, they're just happy with that. Okay, any other question from you?
Happy? Alright, so just keep performing austerity. Make this E equal to MC square successful in your life. Then everything is